Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Kate and Henry out at Hudson Crossing, and today we brought you to a very special, very secret spot at the park. It's the area that goes just beyond the secret garden, and when the river's low, there's lots of things to explore. When it's been very dry out, or like now, when the weather starts getting cooler, the river doesn't have as much water in it. This means that it's a perfect time to go exploring above the secret garden. You can see there's lots of things to look at, and we're going to explore some of them today. What'd you find, Henry? Oh, we've got a leaf, a sure sign of fall. And ooh, some green algae. And look at all these cool, craggly rocks that we can climb around on. It looks like Henry's found a spider web that a spider has created between two rocks. I bet it catches lots of insects there. I love looking at the patterns that just one little insect can make. And speaking of patterns, look at the swirl of that snail shell. What do you see now, Henry? What is that in the water? Why, I know what that is. Let's get it out and get a closer look. This is what's called a crayfish, or sometimes people call them crawdads. It's not really a fish. It's called a crustacean, which means it has a hard shell that protects its outer body. Now this one obviously isn't alive anymore, but his outer shell still remains, so we get to check it out. Not all of our finds are natural. Some are man-made. I wonder what these chain links came from. They look like they've been here a long time. And here's part of an old glass jar. I wonder what that was used for. Henry and I will take it home with us so no one accidentally hurts themselves. And speaking of man-made, if you've walked along the trails at Hudson Crossing, I bet you've seen these piles of rock and wondered what they were. Well, they're trestles that used to hold up a bridge for an electric train or trolley that ran between Greenwich and Schuylerville. These trolleys were in operation from 1895 to 1928 and brought lots of people back and forth to our villages and towns. It must have taken a lot of work to bring all these stones and stack them and put them together so they'd be strong enough to hold a train full of people. Looking at these old trestles and how they're put together, it's given Henry and I an idea. Henry and I are going to build a cairn, or stack of rocks. A long time ago, people used to use these as ways to mark pathways or places where something special happened. We're just going to see if we can stack some rocks and do a good job like the people who built the trolley did. We've gathered rocks from around the area, and I'm trying my best to stack them into a pile. Sometimes they get a little wobbly, but that's okay. That just makes you concentrate and work a little harder to see what will work and what won't. These days, a lot of people build cairns because they find it soothing. I've got to admit, when you're building cairns, you're not thinking about anything other than what you're doing. So there's no time to worry. Unless you're worrying about it falling over, of course. Hey, we did it! Thanks for your help, Henry. Look at that. It's almost as tall as you are, Henry. I don't think we did quite as good of a job as the people who built the trolley trestle, but I think it looks pretty cool, don't you? Well, nothing lasts forever, I guess. Before Henry and I head home, we've got one more thing we just have to do. This old tree that most likely was washed downstream is a perfect place to practice our balancing. Wow!
was super fun, wasn't it? Now you can see why this is one of my favorite spots in the park. We hope you had fun exploring with us, and we'll see you next week. Bye, boys and girls.